Yeah.
I'm thinking about getting
How's
hair.
going?
What's it called?
Plugs.
Yeah.
You're going to go to Turkey?
No, I, that's what everyone told me. But I'm thinking I was. I don't want to fly that far, and I saw a photo of everyone on an aeroplane.
On the aeroplane? And
Yeah, and I'm like,
plugs in?
I don't want to be that guy.
You know?
No.
I mean, I think you save a lot of money there, don't you?
Apparently, but
Yeah.
how much would you pay not to go on that
Yeah.
plane ride
That's true.
and look like that?
I couldn't even think, I mean, a long plane ride on its own, let alone with, just having surgery and plugs. Oh my gosh, that would be horrible.
And also, like you go to another country, you don't know where you are.
True.
Yeah, I'm nervous to get it done in general.
Hi guys, welcome back to our Sip on This podcast. I'm your host Bianca, and today we're joined by Nick from Erd Media and Steph, our internal SEO and content manager. Thanks for
Great to be
coming.
here.
Thanks. So I saw the other day on TikTok that Google search results come up now when you look up things on TikTok. That's such a new thing. I didn't realize that was something that you could do on TikTok.
Google searches appear on TikTok?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I think they're trialing a partnership. I don't know if it's an actual partnership, but it is pulling in search results when you search for something on TikTok. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, you can tell by the grey and the beard. I don't use TikTok to search for things.
Yes.
Although I am fond of TikTok, but I've seen TikTok appearing in Google searches, and it's a good way to get fast results in Google.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other way around.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's a new thing. I only really just noticed. I was looking up, I think it was maybe like a recipe or how to do something, and it was like WikiHow came up, and click on this link, and I was like, oh, that's so.
And then it took you it exited.
I think it takes you kind of like to an external link. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Like the way LinkedIn would do it, so it has its own browser.
Correct. Yeah.
Huh.
Kind of because Instagram does it already and Facebook does it. And, when you click on a link on TikTok for like an ad or something, it'll take you to that external page. Yeah. But it has for search results now, which I thought was really, really cool and interesting, because before it would just come up with, just a bunch of videos that would have a hashtag or a wording in the caption that's related to your search. But now it actually comes up with Google search results.
And how many? Wow. Okay. You've stumped me.
We've
I did not know. I thought it was the other way around.
Yeah.
And I've seen how you can optimize for that, but to optimize to rank in TikTok. There you go.
I think it's a really brand new thing though, so I don't think that many people are kind of aware of how it works. I don't even think they are doing it as a permanent thing. I think it's more just like a trial.
I don't think it is a trial.
Yeah,
Right.
just seeing what happens at the moment.
So I'm taking TikTok videos or videos that any of our clients are producing, and I use that to create written content, like blog content or even website content, because they are the experts in that industry.
Yeah.
They've gone out of their way to make a video, so I'm just going to utilize that.
Yeah.
Optimize it for web results and use that to create.
Yeah. So you're going to take those the videos that you're getting, and then you're going to turn those into like an evergreen.
Yeah, that's right.
Huh. See, I do it the other way around.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So because I've noticed that, and I don't know if you know, but I'm always on TikTok.
Yeah.
Always.
I get about 1 million TikToks from Steph a day.
Yeah, right.
I'm
Every
literally,
day.
my whole life's on there. I use that content. Any of our clients who are using video content, I will take it and create evergreen content, blogs that we can use from that information.
Yeah.
Because as I said, they're the experts. So they've created a really good piece or something of interest that other readers may want to use, or that's good for, search volume, ranking, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And then turn that into a really nice blog that we can use.
Makes a lot of sense to me, because you're right. It's taking that expertise element. You can then just pad that out. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, makes sense.
And then you're kind of covering two bases there. You've got your video and your written copy as well.
Yeah, and I mean, as well with this whole thing where TikTok is potentially going to be banned in certain countries, I think that's really important that if that platform is gone and then all those videos disappear, then you've already got your a kind of like a brief of what happened in those videos already on these websites, because you've been able to optimize those videos when TikTok was around and then take them and make them into written form.
But I would assume we're being very specific to TikTok here, whereas like if you're producing TikTok style short content, then you're going to be putting it on YouTube Shorts.
Yeah, I think
Instagram
that's a whole
stories.
other debate, I guess, in the social world about if TikTok content is the correct kind of content to be shown everywhere else. Some people have a kind of a debate whether TikTok content should be completely different to, your YouTube Shorts, your Facebook, your Reels and things like that. So as you said, like sometimes TikTok content is so specific for TikTok itself. It's a little bit different, but that's a whole nother like world to dive in. People have big debates whether you should be posting your TikTok content across.
I think though, from an SEO standpoint, and for me and Nick though, that kind of doesn't matter as much because as long as the information that you're putting on like a YouTube short or a TikTok or a longer YouTube video, it doesn't matter as long as the information that we have is relevant to what we need to create a really nice evergreen content piece.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's a great way for you guys to have content, say that you're a bit stumped for content, you know, or your client doesn't have an idea of what they want to write about this week, that going to TikTok and searching words like that are relative, or TikTok or Instagram or whatever, and then turning that content into short form, long-term content in a written way, that's a great way to use, you know, the content that's already out there and then interpret that into a written form.
Yeah, totally. Well, you could, like, if you're writing from an expertise and experience standpoint, like from a need standpoint, you would, you could theoretically, go and just look on TikTok or whatever short platform, short video platform, and find people that are talking about it and then quote them directly, and then include videos of them. That's a good idea, actually. I don't do a lot of that at the moment. That's actually a really good idea.
We're giving you all the ideas.
Yeah,
all the tips.
That's why I came here.
I'm actually waiting for one of our clients who does dental and dentures for him to start up his own podcast, because when he does his own podcast, I'm going to take his content that he's creating, whether it's just like audio or visual as well, and I'm going to use that to create his blog.
Like transcribing from that.
Because he's the expert. Like, he's been doing that for however many years, so I can take that information and then create like really in-depth evergreen content that people will use it,
because
people are always searching for dental and, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think that maybe then that goes into the whole AI writing at the moment. I guess, what are your thoughts on these new platforms and the takeover of AI in the world, especially, you know, being a content writer and SEO? I know there's all these changes happening about, you know, possible restrictions with AI, you know, on search engines, and I know that you guys know a bit more about that. So do you want to talk about that a bit more?
Yeah, sure. Well, there's AI clearly is amazing. ChatGPT came out, pretty much changed the world.
Yeah.
In a nanosecond.
Literally. It just came out of nowhere and everyone was talking about it. I was like, what the heck is this?
Yeah. And the writing aspect of it was probably one of the most used on scale that people used. And then once you worked out that you could use an API, or you could connect it up to to SEO tools that could actually then do keyword research, then you could automate content production based on evergreen queries, and you could just mad scale in for nothing and very cheap, and then you could produce tons of content. And so people started doing that, and then you could get a lot of traffic. You could build up affiliate marketing businesses overnight, and you'd rank quite quickly. And Google's algorithm was not geared up for it.
Yeah, they weren't prepared.
They were not. Well, it just didn't. It came so quickly.
Yeah,
but things have changed very quickly as well.
They have to.
Like this month, for instance, in March, there's been a core algorithm update specifically pretty much to target that and to remove AI spam. Of course, there's other aspects of that algorithm update as well, but that's the primary focus of it. So it's changed the way very quickly SEO, which is an ever-evolving industry, which is what I love about it.
Yeah.
It never stays the same. You'd think what you're doing 3 years ago, you did that now, you'd be penalized. It would be wrong.
Yeah.
Or it just wouldn't work, which is the most scary part.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, so now it's everything. The quality of everything has to go up so much, because it's so easy to take write a brief that you previously would have given to a human and say, produce that for me, give it to ChatGPT or something similar, and it'll write it for you.
Yeah.
But when you read that content, it doesn't have a soul, right? Like you can tell.
No emotion, there's nothing behind it.
Yeah, it's just very flat. But to be honest, when using, which I'm sure Steph will agree, a lot of content writers are also quite flat.
Yeah, that's true.
Of course, there's really good ones, but like in any industry, and also we always want to pay everyone wants to pay as little as possible. So you can't blame them. They're just getting their work done. But for those people specifically, it was an immediate game changer, because straight away, they were one of the first, the copywriters were one of the first industries that were threatened by AI as a job,
of course,
which is very scary.
It is.
If that's
so
been
many people. Yeah.
But then it quickly proved that, oh, wait a minute, the AI is an assistant.
Yeah.
It's not the
it's a
full
tool
thing.
that you use to assist you.
Right. So then it started. I know copywriters that I know tons, work with a lot of people in that industry. And what happened, they said very quickly their job switched to people saying, can you edit AI copy?
Yeah.
And at first they didn't like doing it.
Yeah, that's right. I did.
They were insulted by it.
Yeah.
Then they quickly realized, oh, wait a minute, this makes money. Why? Who cares?
We have to adapt.
Yeah. Don't say no to that.
Exactly. But then it's then evolved beyond that. This is all so quickly. How long has this been? Over 6 months?
Not even,
A year?
Yeah, I'd say a year maximum.
Time goes so fast. A year you can be.
I know.
But so Google's evolution has quickly adapted to it.
Yeah.
Back to on track for that. And what we have to do now is actually create content that is so high quality, that is so much better than what AI could produce. And then we have to prove to Google that it's been edited correctly, it's been fact-checked, because that's the other thing with ChatGPT or using AI to write. It really takes license on the truth.
Of course.
Yeah, you can't trust it.
No.
100%.
That's right. You can't trust it. So
it always has a little blurb down the bottom, like, please fact check or something, for things, because I'm not always right. And I'm like, oh.
No, exactly. And so on my own website, we did a very, very detailed EAT update, which is EAT is what Google did at first. EAT, there was always, what was it, experience? I would just say the acronym.
Is it?
Well, they added the extra E. So it used to be experience, authority, trust, EAT.
Yeah.
Then Google added the expertise. Experience.
Yeah.
Getting mixed up on them all. I know what they all are, but the order.
Yeah.
So they added that into it. And then what that meant was, okay, now you have to show that you're experienced, that you have authority in the space, people can trust you, and most of all, that you have expertise in the industry.
Yeah.
So you have to not just say...
You're not just writing something because you have to write it. You have to show that you're an expert in it.
That's right.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, that's right. And that's become extremely important. And then what from that, it's about saying, okay, how do you prove that? So we noted a long time ago in the Money or Your Life algorithm update, it was more aggressive on the EAT framework. And what you would have to do is, if you were writing for a medical product, then you would have to get a doctor to review your content, right? Well, you don't have to, but if you want to rank well.
Of course.
So you'd get a doctor to read the content. Then in the blog, you'd have authored by some.
Oh, wow. That's good, because then you know that, what you're reading is legit. You're not just reading, oh, why does my heart hurt? Oh, you could possibly have ABC. It's, my doctor's actually
or you just got out of a bad relationship.
Exactly. Exactly. Otherwise, or you're stressed.
But yeah, so it's, so that's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
But now that's evolved into all industries. So if you're writing SEO copy, I could write the copy. Then I could send it to Steph, say, Steph, can you review this for me and give your feedback on it? Then I incorporate Steph's feedback.
Yeah.
So now it's been expert reviewed by Steph. Then I give it to an editor. They check it and edit and fact check it. Then I say, okay, this person was
like
the
writing
editor.
A book. Like you have to go through the editors and then
Pretty much. And then you credit everybody. Then every person has to have, so like on the media blog, we now have, each article has 3 people attributed to each article that's been involved at minimum. Then we also have to put out there what our fact check policies are, our editorial policies, quality guidelines, and you have to actually state all of this.
Is that a requirement to have those policies, or is it just something that improves your ranking?
Yeah, there's no requirement. SEO is funny because it's sort of like, there's no mandatory, you don't have to do anything online.
But do you recommend that?
Yeah. If you want to rank well, it's a good idea.
Yeah.
But you don't have to, and people rank without it. Yeah. But it's something that's going to be bigger and bigger.
It's like a little booster. It could help
It's a tick. It's a tick. Yeah, but it's a big tick. Like we got a huge ramp up in rankings and traffic from when we launched our EAT update on our blog. But yeah, so that's what, I guess, back onto the question there from the AI, how has that changed things? It has meant that the quality on everything has to go up.
Yep.
Which for the world and for the internet is fantastic.
Of course.
Because it was getting saturated with, you'd Google some, asking for information on something, you'd get these articles like, no, Jesus.
Yeah. And it's the same, and it takes about 100 pages before you actually get your answer as well. It's full of just
it's because it's just SEO puffed out basically, whereas that's not the style anymore. Now it's about saying who's writing it, why are they writing it, why do they have the right to write this, like what's their background that they can tell us this information. That is all really important now. It's not just about optimizing for keywords. So it
sounds like a good improvement though. Like this coming in sounds like it's great as well for all the jobs that maybe were stressed out for a while, like content writers going, oh my gosh, AI is going to take over and, everyone's never going to use me because they're going to go to ChatGPT. So that sounds like it's a good way to then keep, humans on these jobs as well, to get that emotion and the feeling and the real life, behind the writing rather than just some robot.
Yeah, people who are, the better you are at writing, the more in demand you will be in more demand. Whereas previously, you didn't have to be really talented to be in high demand.
If you could put a sentence together, you were good.
You could get hired, right?
Anyone could just write content writer in their resume and be like, I know how to write stuff.
Exactly. Right. But now it's the quality's up. Like for us to produce what we previously would have said was a really highly optimized evergreen. By the way, evergreen means it has regular search volume.
Sure.
So it's like a query that's searched every month with an estimated volume.
Evergreen, that makes sense. Yeah.
So if we were targeting, in SEO, you always target evergreen because you want that traffic.
Yeah, of course.
So we're like, if we're creating this piece of content, we could have done that for a pretty low cost over a day. Over a day, and then but now it's 2-3 days work. It's twice as much work.
It's a whole process. I think that's a misconception that people think, even to this day, that writing a blog or a web page or whatever is just easy.
Yeah.
And I know that's the feedback I've gotten from clients is like, it's easy, just do it. And you're like, you can't just do it.
Yeah.
You have to, there's so much research that goes into it, as just like all the approvals and everything that you have to go through to even get a piece live is just insane.
And now considering all of those EEAT or whatever it is, all those pointers now as well, that's a whole nother thing that you have to look at rather than just writing about something. Right.
Well, and that's more enforced by Google they have what they call helpful content update. And that's more specific to what we're talking about, I guess, you're talking about actual updates. Because that's exactly about that. It's about saying the content must now be of high value. It has to be really helpful. And we have to be assured that it's helpful. And the readers should trust the person writing it. They should know the person writing it. Or they should be able to easily click and get information about them. So a writer profile should be more like a LinkedIn page rather than just that they worked at this company and did,
So you kind of get that trust by knowing the face and the person behind the writing rather than just going, oh, someone's written this, I don't know who. It's like an awful little blurb on the front of the book or whatever.
No, much more detailed. It's got to go into your education, your experience. What have you done? What in your career have you done?
What makes you an expert in that field?
It's
that would be hard for a lot of people who probably don't have all that education experience stuff. They might be good at writing or whatever, but they don't actually have. They didn't go to uni or didn't have the education or they didn't have...
But they could say they've been in, like say, especially in SEO, for instance, like I've been doing it before it was even a paid job. So there was no... I think there is now a university course, but there's no university course for a lot of digital marketing stuff. But so your experience in the industry is of equal value. So you may have done a degree in arts or something. Or it could have been a HR degree, whatever. Who cares? But you then, it's about saying, in my career, I have created X amount of blog articles. I've written for this company, that company, this company. My articles have received X amount of traffic. You got to be creative with your information. You could say people you've worked with. There's ways to do it. But it's definitely easier to write a bio once you've been
established.
But there's always ways to do stuff. Like in the marketing world, it's about how creative you can be.
It's interesting hearing it sounds like it's changed so much so quickly and so recently as well about what the changes could possibly be, in both your jobs as it goes on. I feel like it's even hard to think about what that could look like because it's just, you guys wouldn't have I wouldn't have guessed that some ChatGPT was going to come out and just nearly wipe out, half your jobs. But what will happen in a year's time. It just sounds like things are constantly changing. You just got to be on your toes, ready to just adapt.
But it was definitely a misconception that I don't think from what I can see, it didn't wipe out jobs by any means.
Okay.
In the copywriting space, right? Like people who were lower quality content writers, it did.
Yeah.
Potentially, I don't know. I didn't really work in that space that much. But from an SEO standpoint, I've been in the SEO industry for, gosh, I stopped counting after 12. It could be
a long time.
Yeah,
I'm
less
on 15,
than 100.
so you must be a few more on me.
Wow.
Yeah.
15. Well, I'd be close to that. Maybe a bit more. Who knows? Anyway, who cares? Irrelevant.
Experts.
But, but for a long time. But just right now is potentially a boom like time for SEO.
Yeah.
Most SEOs that I talk to are so busy that we can't, like, we're all talk to each other. And we're all theoretically, you'd say we're competitors, but we're not really, because there's so much work that we're just saying, can you help me with this? Can you help me with this? Do you have capacity? Can you do this? And we're finding people to help take on all the work because there's so much. And the problem with it is you need to be in SEO for many years to be able to understand it, right? Because there's a lot of...
It's more than just like keywords.
It's really understanding it's hard to even explain. You have to have a feeling for it, and you have to have so much experience where, we've done this before, that doesn't work. If you do this, it does that. If you do this, it'll do that. If you
Lots of trial and error.
There's exactly. And you can't know if what you did is good or bad for maybe a year, because SEO is a slow process. So people have to have years of experience, and a lot of people get bored,
of course,
and drop out of it.
Some people like to see results pretty much straight away, and I get that. People have short attention spans.
SEOs tend to switch to social media.
Yeah,
because it's
fast paced.
Yeah, and it's still creative. Yeah, because SEO is very creative, as is social media.
Yeah.
So people switch. So many people I've trained in SEO, I talk to them now on their social media, and as an SEO, it's disappointing.
Yeah, of course.
But to the point of why I'm explaining that is, there's not enough SEOs. Yeah. Because it takes years and years and years. So it's not great money when you start.
An SEO.
Yeah. But then you've got to think, well, where's that going to be in 10 years?
Yeah.
But there's always search engines, right? Unlikely search engines will change.
Yep. People are always going to want to search for things.
They'll evolve. Like when you're talking about using, like a social media search, like TikTok search, that's a search engine, of course, right? Yeah. So you can mess with that search engine and you can try and make things rank. So SEOs will always be there. Yeah. I predict there's going to be a rise in like TikTok SEOs.
Yeah. Well, there is. I mean, I don't know if this kind of counts, but when you do search up, say I search up, chocolate chip cookie recipe, there are like top videos that come up. It will say like top videos as the first maybe 6 videos, and then underneath it's like just something maybe related to your location, and you can filter out things that you've watched and filter out top liked, top engaged. So there are, I mean, it's not obviously to the extent of like a search engine like Chrome or whatever, but there are ways that they are implementing search engines to have those filters to then find the top ranked video where everyone's commented on, everyone's liked it. That's the top most viewed chocolate chip cookie recipe on TikTok. So, and I mean, I use that. I think that's great.
The chocolate chip recipe specifically.
Yeah. I'm always like, for my recipes, I'm like TikTok, because I do visual. That too. I like to see things visually and have someone go, this is visually what your batter should look like by step 4, rather than like reading a chocolate chip recipe and then I'm like, okay, why didn't they turn out good? And it's because I didn't see what step 4 looked like because it was too runny or too dry or whatever, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
So that's what I like about using TikTok.
A lot of people use YouTube for that too. Yeah, that's exactly. Really common.
YouTube I find slower though.
Well, it just comes back to what you were saying before about people's short attention spans these days. Because the same thing, like that's what I use TikTok for. If I want to know a quick answer, I go straight to TikTok. How do I made brownies last night. Yeah. I like, how do I make it? And I fast forward
tomorrow.
For tomorrow. And I'll fast forward to make sure that what I made looks like what it's supposed to look like. Yeah. But then if I want something more in depth, say like back to the dental client that we have, I want to know, half my tooth broke off the other week. Well, what's going to happen about that? I'm going to go and read in depth about
do you think so though? If half my tooth broke off, I'd probably go to the dentist.
Well, I did.
Like, should I go to the dentist? Tell me.
It's fine.
I'm going to wait a few days. Who needs a full tooth?
I think that's where it goes back to like the medical, maybe more of the medical. Oh yeah, as you said, why is my heart beating really fast? Is it because I'm stressed, or is it because maybe I should go to the emergency
room?
Well,
not necessarily even just medical, but like we have a swimming pool client, for example, and if I want to know about how close I can build to the fence and things like that, I'm not necessarily going to go to TikTok, whereas I can read a full article that's got diagrams and is provided by a person in the industry that knows what they're talking about. I'll choose that over some teenage kid who's like, my mom and dad built this really close to our fence.
Day in the life of building a pool.
And just bringing back to AI in relation to exactly what we're talking like this, with as it matures into video creation, which is just an extremely scary thing.
Yeah, the images are scary enough, let alone...
And what it can do, if you think about the that's pretty much unstoppable once it can produce content like that.
Yeah.
So say with the dentist, you could just create a video about that and it will make it. But then is that true? Is that not true?
I know.
And how do you optimize that?
Yeah.
My quick theory is we follow Mr. Beast.
Yes.
And just do what he does.
I love Mr. Beast.
Yeah. from an optimization, video optimization.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like that's AI video content is definitely the next thing we need to get ready for.
Yeah. I know there's some videos or on TikTok out there that are like, oh, spot the difference. Which photo do you think is AI generated?
Yeah.
And I'm literally looking at these images. I'm like, I have no clue. They all look, I'm looking at all of them. They're all AI. There's no way they're all not AI. And then they're like, this one's not AI. I'm like, how the heck is that one not AI? It's crazy. And the detail that they can bring to faces and create people that aren't even real and make them these human beings. It's actually kind of scary.
Sort of about finding imperfection, right?
Yeah.
I think that the AI tries to include imperfection, but it's not good at imperfection because it's a computer.
Correct.
So that's sort of what you always got to look for. And when producing your own content, that's why content creators are so use the phone, local. You don't want to do high production
quality, correct?
Because it's just not what people look for now. It takes away authenticity.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's definitely not. We don't ever recommend putting, your high quality camera on social media. Obviously, in a sense of like a podcast video or whatever, it's totally different. But when you're creating a video and you guys are doing something fun or in the office and it's, EGC, which is employee generated content, it's something like that they could do, something that the viewer could also go and do at home or at their office. So again, that's a whole thing about,
It's like EGC. I use UGC all the time.
Yeah, so UGC, user generated content, and then EGC is like the employee generated content.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And that's office based content.
So it's just the employers, or like you're at the warehouse or at the office, or the owner of the business is then stepping in front of the camera and talking about the product or talking about their culture at the workplace or whatever instead. That's the new thing.
Wow. Well, you
it's not
could
really
say
new.
the office was
It's more like what everyone's trying to move to now, because people don't want to see you just showing off your product on social media now. They want to say who runs it. They want to know their backstory. How do they get there? What's their day-to-day look like and things like that. So
makes me happy because I shot a video for my business as a marketing video, and I actually made it look like UGC.
Yeah.
EGC.
Yeah.
Sorry everyone. Sorry. EGC.
Scandal.
Yeah. E for egg.
Yeah.
I remember it that way.
Yeah, you're having trouble with the E's today.
Oh, probably better E for employee. That would be much easier.
That's even better.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. That's interesting.
Yeah.
But that still kind of ties in with like bringing everything back to the trustfulness and that back to eat, because it's building a whole brand. It's building a voice. It's building a face to the brand as well. Just ties everything back in nicely, I think.
People want to trust you these days. I think that, I think before maybe like the CEO, no one really knew who the CEO of a places were. They kind of hid behind, all their employees. They didn't know who people were. But now you can go on a LinkedIn and find out who the CEO of a company is, right? And you can see what they look like. And that's awesome. But before,
except it makes it much harder for the producers of Undercover Boss.
Yes,
that's true.
Because the CEO, they can look him up.
I think about that because that beard is not enough now. I know what you look like.
Those disguises were terrible.
I think it was all scripted. There's no way those things were real.
It's such a fun show.
Yeah, it was
but yeah, sorry, I don't know why I brought that up. But yeah, so the AI, basically, I guess the benefits we get from that is it has to bring out what's human about us and what differentiate us from AI, and in that is quality and uniqueness and expertise and experience and authority in an industry, and not just being fed a bunch of data and being able to answer questions, which, by the way, is also very cool.
Yes.
But it's finding a happy combination, right, between those two things, and that's sort of what it's about.
Yeah.
Like back to what I was saying with the blog before, you can actually, if you're attributing people that have worked on an article, you can also attribute ChatGPT as one of the people.
Do you think people would find that a bit, I don't know if I then trust that article if ChatGPT was maybe included in as
It's more an honesty thing.
Okay.
We're actually contemplating putting onto our blog posts and building a widget that will then give percentage of AI usage in the content. So every piece of content will actually tell you how much of this is AI. So people, just to give full transparency.
Yeah, well, there's nothing wrong with using AI. There's nothing wrong as using it as a tool to help you. Like, I mean, I know I use it when I'm completely stumped and I need that creative kind of, just give me a word I can't think of right now, or give me a title for something. And I always rework it. I don't think I've ever copied and pasted something from ChatGPT and gone, that's perfect. Never in my life. It's always got to be edited afterwards. I always go to Steph. Steph,
can you check this?
Does this sound okay now? Because obviously, it's a tool. It's not something that you copy and paste.
Exactly.
From.
So if you're using that to produce blog content, say for Multimedia X website, then if you reset the blog to have, you would say you were the author, right? ChatGPT was your assistant.
Yeah.
Steph was the editor.
Yeah.
And then you could say, if it's on a paid channel, you could say, Emad or Matt, can you review this for me and give me feedback on it?
Yeah.
And then they'd be the expert review.
Yeah.
So then you would actually say, all of the people that were involved in making this, that's who's credited.
Yeah.
And let Google know that.
Do you think that would give or cause any backlash with your clients though? Because the reason I ask is that I've had a few clients come back to me and say, this is ChatGPT content. And I'm like, no, it's not. 100% this is written by a human. And they don't believe me, when I say that it's not AI content. Do you think that by putting out, like, this is some form of ChatGPT has
supported
it's more about like if people are saying that, it probably means you need more expert inclusion in the content. So you should then say to them, well, we need your feedback on it because I only know X amount about the business.
Yeah.
So we need more information so as we can make this better. Because that it shouldn't matter if it's AI. It should matter if it's good. You know
I kind of feel though like it's become like ChatGPT, especially a buzz term that people will use to throw around. Like, I don't like your content. That's ChatGPT.
Yeah, just because I know what it is.
Like, well, just because, you know what that is and you think that's going to throw me off. Like, no.
just get ChatGPT to answer them.
Literally. I'm like, did you write this? And say no.
No, I did not, because it doesn't care.
No,
so
back you.
It's the answer to that.
Yeah, there you go.
Or use Bard.
What's Bard?
Yeah.
Google's version of ChatGPT.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Does it have a new name now?
Oh, yeah. What is
Gemini?
it now? Gemini, that's it.
Gemini. Oh, star sign.
I'd prefer Bard.
I always think of Bard.
Yeah, or a really old car. Remember the Gemini? You guys got
and yes, I do know.
But yeah, it's
the baby over here doesn't.
Yes, like, what? A non-electric car?
Tesla?
Tesla. Which? Why? Oh, the old S. Yeah.
Yes.
But where are we going with that? Oh, yeah. So Google does have its own AI, which I actually use a lot. But it hasn't got the GPT store.
Does it have an issue with you using that on their platform? So you know how you're saying that with these new updates that it's stopping the whole AI thing, or the spamminess of AI, and kind of, I guess, penalizing people for using AI in all their writing. Is it penalizing their own AI?
Again, you're allowed to use Google. Like, you can use AI. There's no problem with it. It's fine, but you have to, all the stuff we we're talking about before, it has to be checked, it has to be included, it has to be used in the right way.
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with using it.
Yeah.
It's just about don't try and do scale with AI that's unchecked by humans.
Sure.
That's what it's about.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you do use it, don't straight copy and paste it. Have you seen how many web pages are ranking on the top 1 to 2 pages that have regenerate response at the bottom of the page?
I haven't noticed.
They've literally just copied and
Oh,
pasted
really?
it
Like
Oh,
it
sorry, I
from
get what you mean, yeah.
ChatGPT, and it's got regenerate response at the bottom. Yeah.
Oh, guys, go check your websites if you've
Yeah,
done that.
don't do that.
Don't do that. That's a
Can you
massive
pass me my
giveaway.
phone?
Let me go check.
Yeah, I believe that would be true. But
Once
anyway,
you notice it, you see it everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but yeah, so the point of it, is just AI is great.
Yep.
The best thing ever. If you try and not use it, you're
missing out.
You're headed for trouble.
Yeah.
That's what I think. There was a good quote. I'm trying to think what it was. It was like, AI is not coming to take your job. A guy using AI is coming to take your job.
Yeah.
Right? Or a girl replace.
Yeah.
You get
A person.
A person.
Yeah.
I'm just quoting someone else,
Yes,
right?
yes.
I don't make them up. I wish I did. But yeah, that's the best saying of modern times
That's a
from
great
employment.
saying.
It's about saying that you using AI and integrating it into your work will make you so much stronger.
Yep.
So it's AI must be used, but you must use it correctly.
Correct. Yeah. I think that's a great way to end the podcast. That was good. I like that quote. I think that people, again, are scared of AI, but I think what you guys have said have really kind of put more information into the world about what AI is actually doing and how to use it properly and how to make it improve what you're doing, but also not completely taking over what you're doing as well. Yeah. Thanks, guys, for joining. It was so fun.
Thanks for having
Lots
us.
of information. Thanks, guys, for joining our podcast. If you guys want to catch another episode, be sure to follow us on all your streaming platforms, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Thanks.